So today I'm gonna make a DIY the stack speed training system, and this is why. Everybody wants to hit the 320-yard bombs, 50 yards past their playing partners, and like me, you don't have the speed to do so. And the best training aid to get that speed is the stack speed training system, but it's $300. So I'm gonna build one that will fit my low budget and low ceilings and work seamlessly with the official Stacked app, and I'm gonna try to keep it under $40. Let's build it and see if I can do it. Okay, here's my plan. First, I'm gonna go to a Serenity shop or thrift store, find a cheap 6 or 7 iron. After bringing that home, I am going to remove the head of that club. After that, I'm going to start making the weights for the weighted system. And finally, we have to figure out how to attach those weights individually to the top of the club where the head was. And that's what makes the stack system so great. And then finally, we get to swing away, use the Stack app, and hopefully hit those 320-yard bombs. Okay, so I've been planning and I think I have all of the stuff that I need. I've been looking at homedepot.com. Luckily, I do have a 7 iron with a composite senior flex in it. It's a club that I'm never going to use. And I got it at a garage sale with a bunch of other clubs, a bag, I think. And so I'm just gonna use this one, but you can definitely get one at a thrift store for like $5-6. And so I'm gonna put $5 inside my budget, even though I am using this for free. But I do have a bunch of stuff that I have to pick up from Home Depot. This is my list from Home Depot. The first thing I need is a 5/16 all thread. All thread is just thread all the way down, hence the name all thread. I also need a box of 5/16 fender washers. I need 1 5/16 wing nut, 2 5/16 nuts, epoxy good for metal, and some super glue. And I think we can build this thing. Let's go get that stuff. Okay, so I'm back from Home Depot, and just a disclaimer, that first club with a composite shaft did not work. Hole on the shaft is way too small for this 5/16. I should have known that, should have known it. And so I just picked up a steel shaft club. This is a 5 iron. This is one, again, I had laying around in my garage. I think it's a regular flex. I don't really know, but it's definitely not a senior flex. Is that gonna come and bite me in the butt later? Maybe. But all I'm going to do is use my blowtorch, and I'm going to take off this head. The first thing in our plan is to knock off the head, so let's do that real quick. I got a little leather glove. I'm gonna heat up the club head around the shaft, and then I'm just gonna pull it off. Hopefully that's how it works. I've only seen people do this. I've never done it myself. So here we go. That was actually quite easy. I'm gonna open my garage door. Got some burning plastic here. Some epoxy inside of the shaft. So I'm gonna I might just cut off it instead of trying to drill it out. Oh, that epoxy is probably gonna come right out. Let's find a drill head to drill that out. So now that we got the tips somewhat ready, I should clean off this plastic, but I'm gonna actually do it after I get epoxy all over it. I think that's a better choice. I have this 5/16 all thread. This is only 12 inches long. This was like $3, not very much at all. And I'm gonna need some epoxy. This JB Weld quick epoxy was about $5, not very much. This could not have been a better fit. I actually have to screw it in here for it to fit. I'm going to make a mark probably about 1 inch on this all thread to make sure that the depth is gonna be at least 1 inch inside the shaft. I am then going to use epoxy and cover it in epoxy and thread it into that inch, and then I'm gonna let it sit and dry, and then we're gonna move on to the next step. As this dries, and it's gonna take a while for it to dry, we're gonna actually make the weights that you put on and off to make the stack system work. This is the thing that makes it the stack system, is the individual weights that you can take on and off. And we're gonna make them out of these fender washers right here. And we're gonna make sure that they're the right weights by weighing them. One of these is about 10 grams. And so looking at my list of ones that I have to make, I have to make a 45 gram weight, a 60 gram weight, a 75 gram weight, and a 100 gram weight. I might not be able to make those exactly, but we'll get as close as we can. I am going to super glue them together. I just got this tube of super glue right here. It's a little squeeze form. You only need a drop or two between each layer of the washers. This doesn't keep them on the club. The nut will actually keep them on the club. This will just keep them in stacks of the correct weighted grams. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and I'll meet you back here. All right, so I got everything's kind of glued up and mocked up, and so I'm gonna let everything dry overnight. As it dries, I do want to have one little caveat though. I did have to order a radar, because you do need a radar to measure your swing speed for you to use the app. I did not include this in the $40 price because some people already have them, or some people want to get specific ones. I just purchased one, looks like this. It will be here tomorrow so I can test everything out with it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully this thing works. Okay, so it's actually been a couple of days since I last glued this up, and the reason why is because I'm kind of waiting for the radar I ordered from Amazon. It's taken a little bit longer over this weekend. It says it's going to be delivered today, so I can actually test this out. But I want to update you guys on some of the things that I've done to this, because I did come in yesterday in the garage and did a couple of things. The first thing, I found out that they actually have 5 weights to the system. They have a 20 gram weight, a 45 gram weight, a 65 gram weight, a 75 gram weight, and a 100 gram weight. I did a 20 gram weight. That's the one I added to it. And then a 40, a 60, an 80, and 100. I think the 5 grams is not a huge deal, and so I'm just going to go with that. The other thing I did was I cut the all thread down to length. I cut it down to about 2¼ inches. I would recommend doing 2½ inches, just in case you wanted to add more weight to this. I did add a 20 gram weight and a wing nut to it, and all I did was I took a wing nut, installed it in upside down. This is where the regular nut would come into place. I had it on my original list, but I had to buy the wing nuts in a pack of 3 at Home Depot, and so instead of buying another nut, I just used this wing nut. I then took another 20 gram weight that I've made, so this is an extra one from the previous one, and just super glued it to that wing nut and tried to super glue it stuck to the bottom. And now that everything works, I can show you that every weight, the 20 gram weight, the 40 gram weight, the 60 gram weight, the 80 gram weight, and the 100 gram weight all fit on there. And then all you have to do to attach it to it is take that second wing nut, and then we have a weighted system. I think it looks pretty good. I don't think it's gonna come out. As you can see at the top, the wing nut barely fits with all of them, and that's why I kind of recommend doing 2½ inches instead of 1¼ inch. I made a decision though, and I can't add it back on. And so the only thing we have to do is to test it out. I do want to swing it with the radar, so I'm gonna wait until that radar gets here. I will see you guys in the afternoon when it gets here, and we're going to test this out. So I got the radar here. I'm gonna test it with an 8-iron to make sure it's good. I should be anywhere between 78 and 84 with this 8-iron for the swing. I'm just gonna do a nice little smoothie here. 85 is like perfect. I've swung a couple different clubs. I think it's pretty accurate there. As you can see, it speaks also, but that's not what you're here for. What you're here for is this guy right here. Let's see if it busts a hole in my ceiling, falls apart in my hands, or breaks on swing. I want to make sure it works with this radar too. Here we go, first swing. 99, not too bad with this thing. I don't know if that's good or not, but what is good is it's still intact and there's no hole in my ceiling, but we need to test it with some weight also. And so I'm gonna kind of go up gradually. I'm going to let's put on 80 grams. So I got 80 grams right here. I'm just gonna put it on top of this, use the wing nut to go back down. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Just want to make sure it's tight enough so it doesn't come off. 80 grams. Feels a little bit heavier than a normal club. Let's see. if it falls apart. Oh, nice. That was faster than the other one. So I got, that's on there. Everything's good. Another swing for good luck. Okay, I think it's strong enough. I think I need to put on all the weight. So I'm gonna put on the whole 300 grams of weight. So I got that 80 on there. I'm gonna put on all of the other weight. Now this is the ultimate test. I got 320 grams with that 20 gram weight that's on the bottom on this club right here. I don't know how fast I should swing this thing, but all I know is I'm gonna try to swing it as fast as I can. I'm gonna shoot for, let's say 80. Let's shoot for 80 miles an hour here. 80. I'm gonna try to do it really hard. Test everything, make sure I don't hit my ceiling, make sure it stays together, and here we go. Oh, 85, and it stayed together. I think this is a success. Let me know down in the comments if this is something that you're gonna build. So this thing works awesome. It works almost exactly like the stacked system. But the real question is, will it give me the speed that I need to hit 320 yard bombs? And the only way to figure that out is to actually use the Stack app. So today, the day that this is posted, Stack has launched their Android app, and I'm going to be starting the protocols for the month of December, and in January you will see the results with back data from before and after. So if you guys want to see those results and not miss them, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get this video up to 1,000 likes. That will motivate me to stick with it through the month of December. And until next time, make golf your project, and I'll see you next video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I can get 300 yard bombs with this thing. I'm gonna try to, this is still fully weighted. I'm gonna try to get 85. I had 84 before. I'm gonna try to get 85 now. Here we go. Oh, 88! Nice! See you guys next video.